Hi and welcome. I'm Gideon. It's January 2021, and so many questions are coming my way again about what computer must I buy. So let's have a look at what computer you must buy, whether your kids are going to study, starting a new job, etc. And what are the options available in January 2021. So the first question you must answer for yourself is, what are you going to be doing with your computer? Windows is, if you're going to study anything or do anything that's sort of general purpose, you're going to write documents, you may be going to do some graphic design, etc., you are going to be okay with a Windows computer. It's a good place to be, and Windows is upgrading Windows 10 very regularly at the moment. Windows 10 is a stable operating system for any computer and a really good place to be. Be aware that when you do buy a Windows computer, you have to buy Windows with the computer. Normally they're included in most branded computers as OEM licenses. So be aware that you need that. Also be aware that you're going to need some Office applications. You're going to need Word, PowerPoint, etc. So Office 365 subscription will probably be needed as well. If you are going to do graphic design work using Adobe Photoshop, InDesign, or any of the Adobe product suites, they all run very, very well on Windows and absolutely no problem. So Windows is a good option. Your second option is going to buy a Mac. Initially, you'll be surprised to see that the Mac prices are more expensive. But what do you get in Mac? You get the operating system included into the machine that you're buying, as well as the Office applications. So you're going to get Keynote, Numbers, and Write. I think that's what they call it. I think that's what they call it. So you're going to get a word processor, a spreadsheet, and presentation software included in your Mac. You're also going to get the operating system, which latest version is called OS X Big Sur, included in your Mac. So the Mac is pretty much everything wrapped into one very nice user experience and a high performance type system. Don't buy the entry level Macs unless you're going to do very simple things. If you're going to do development or graphic design, buy the higher spec models as well. I was a little disappointed with my 27-inch Mac that I bought, in that the hard drive was a little too small for me. So just make sure you get the right size hard drive for what you're going to do. But the Mac is really a polished system, really nice, really fast, works really well. If you're going to be studying computer engineering or networking or any engineering type subjects, you're going to be okay for a Linux-based system. Linux is typically used by server applications. Your mail server, your web server, etc. is all going to be running Linux. My feeling is that anybody working in an IT department needs to know Linux. So you need to have a Linux computer somewhere to be able to know how Linux works. If you're going to host things in the cloud, most of the cloud services are hosting Linux as well. Or everyone hosts Linux, and you have to know how that stuff works. Networking, IT department have to know Linux. There is no choice. The second most important question is which processor. Now, Intel released the core processors 10th generation, so don't go buy a computer with the 9th or 8th generation processor. It's probably not a good idea. Computers are going to last you, whatever computer you're going to buy is going to last you 3 to 5 years, and it doesn't help starting off 2 years behind in that process. So buy a 10th generation processor. Intel have launched a couple, just 2 11th generation processors as of today. The 11th generation processor is obviously where you want to be ideally, but the 10th generations are very current and in a good place at the moment. If you're going to buy a Mac, you have a choice of a 10th generation processor, but you also have a choice of the ARM based M1 processor from a Mac. Those are the latest processors, and Apple is going to migrate to the M1 processor. So buying a PowerBook where the M1 processor is available at the moment is not a bad place to be. The next difficult thing to look at, or actually very easy one, is the hard drive. The hard drive is the persistent storage on the computer. Whenever you switch off your computer, anything that you want saved is going to be on your hard drive. Everything loads from your hard drive. Now, we've always used mechanical drives. The short answer is do not buy a mechanical drive. Only buy a solid state NVMe or PCI connected disk directly. Mechanical drives they're good for backups and storage, etc., just because of the size of them. But the solid state disks have reduced so much in cost. And actually, if you've got a computer which is maybe 2 years old and you want to revive it, just put a solid state disk in it and you'll be in a good place. And suddenly you will have something that is actually usable again. So you can look at the numbers there on the screen. It's chalk and cheese. I would not use any computer, and I have not for the last couple of years, used any computer with a mechanical drive. It's just not worth it. So make sure you don't buy a laptop with a 7200 RPM or 5400 RPM disk. That machine is obsolete, and tell the salesperson you're not interested in that machine. Just don't buy it. Your last option is, are you going to buy a laptop or a desktop? The quick answer on this is you're going to get a lot more on a desktop than you're going to get on a laptop spec-wise. So you want to have a computer that's actually fast and that you don't sit there watching wheels all the time turn and sit and waste your time. If you are going to study, you're going to spend a lot of time and money on studying, and you don't want to have computer problems and sit there watching wheels turn all the time. So spend as much money as what you possibly can. If you're going to be working from home, desktops are becoming a real option again. Laptops, high-performance laptops are quite expensive, but you do definitely get more on a desktop for the same money as what you do on a laptop. So those are the short summary of things to look at. Oops, showing you the wrong things over here. Those are the short summaries of things you have to look at when you're going to buy a new computer. Spend as much money as you can, as what you can afford. You should be spending somewhere in the region of about $1,500 to $2,000. At the low end, you can maybe spend $1,000, just over $1,000 if you're going to be buying a desktop based computer. But typically, I'm in South Africa, so you want to spend 15,000 Rand upwards on a computer. Otherwise, you're going to pretty much be watching wheels turn all the time. Don't buy a Core i3, buy Core i5 or Core i7. The price difference is not that much, and you get a far more computer for that. So thank you for watching. Click the subscribe button, and I'll bring you more videos. I'm going to show you some small computers where you can actually learn a lot using a very small computer. Thanks for watching.